She's a Mona Lisa.
Hi guys, it's Emma Williams back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about my rush experience, my sorority recruitment experience, whatever you want to call it, and I'm super excited. So the way I'm going to kind of have this video laid out is I'm going to talk about my experience first, and then I'm going to give you guys some advice, and then I'm going to be answering questions that you guys asked me on my Instagram story. I asked if you guys had any questions or wanted to know anything about recruitment. So I hope that this video helps any girls who are going through recruitment this year, or anyone who's just genuinely curious about the recruitment process. And yeah, so let's just jump right into the video. The first thing I want to talk about is kind of the layout of recruitment. So there's 5 different types of days of recruitment. So for Auburn, which is where I go, it's Ice Water Teas, which is the first day where you get to know everyone. Then there's Philanthropy Round, Sisterhood, Pref Day, and then Bid Day. So Ice Water Tea Day, I think every college calls it something different, but it's basically just like the first day. It's the shortest of all the days. You go in for about like 20-25 minutes, and you just talk to a girl or a couple girls in the sorority, and you just get to know them. They're going to ask you simple questions. It's going to feel really repetitive, honestly, at first, but they're basically just going to ask you like, what's your name, where are you from, what's your major, like those kind of introduction questions. So yeah, the first day you're just kind of getting a feel for each sorority and meeting girls. So it's super casual. I remember my first house that I went into, I was super nervous. I think I pretty much blacked out the entire conversation, but honestly, then someone told me that like the girls on the other side are just as nervous as we are going in, so that made me feel a lot better. And the more houses you go to, by the end of the first day, honestly, you're gonna get the hang of it. I think there's like 18 different sororities at Auburn, so by the 18th sorority, you have got it down. And yeah, it's honestly pretty fun. Like, it's not as scary as everyone makes it out to be, and like the way I try to look at it is a way that I'm able to like meet so many new people in such a short amount of time. So if you can just have that positive outlook on it, then it's going to be a lot better and a lot more enjoyable for you. The next round is Philanthropy. So Philanthropy round is kind of where each sorority is going to talk about their volunteer work that they do. Every sorority chooses one sort of foundation that they'll donate money to and volunteer at. And this is kind of where girls can develop an attachment to a sorority, especially if you relate to their philanthropy. Obviously, it's not for everyone. It depends on who you are and what you like, but some girls are able to relate to a certain philanthropy, and then that forms an attachment to that certain sorority. But yeah, you basically are just learning about the sorority's philanthropy, how they're involved, what they do, and yeah, some people can get super emotional on this day, obviously, if you have a personal connection to the philanthropy that the sorority has, but it totally just, again, depends on who you are and if you relate to it. Okay, so the next round is Sisterhood, and Sisterhood is probably my favorite of all the days, and it's where you just basically learn about the sisterhood of the sorority, and they talk to you about like socials, formals, events that the sorority has, and it's super fun because you get to like go around the room normally, and they'll show you pictures from each event that they have and t-shirts that they've made from the events, and this is where you really get a feel for the sorority, I feel like. And I remember this is like the most fun day for me, and it kind of like helps you narrow down your decision, and you get like a really good feel for the sorority, and it gets you like actually like excited to join the sorority that you're joining. So yeah, I really like this day. The next round is preference, and you normally only have 2 sororities that day, and they're your top 2 or the last 2 that you are left with. And this day is the most emotional day of all of it, and you go into both sororities for I think 45 minutes, something like that. It's pretty long, and you are paired up with someone, and a lot of people get emotional during it, depending on who you are, but they basically just talk about the sorority. People give testimonials on how the sorority has changed their life, the girls that they've met, and like the attachment and bond that they have gotten from the sorority itself. It's really super serious compared to the other rounds. The other 3 rounds are kind of just like, like sorority kind of thing, and then prep round is like actually really serious, and important to a lot of girls. So just beware of that. Prep round is going to be completely different than the rest of the rounds, but it is enjoyable, and that's when you really make your decision on what sorority you belong in. So then the last day is obviously bid day, which is the best day of all of them. It's so much fun. At Auburn, we open our bids in the basketball arena, and then we run to where our like sorority sign is, and then we all, like when they tell us to, run to the actual sorority where we find our bid day buddy, and our bid day buddy is like holding up a sign with our name on it, and then they give you like a bunch of goodies, and it's like a huge celebration with everyone, and it's so much fun, and you get to meet all of your new sisters, which is honestly like the best feeling. It's a good feeling, and it's also such a relieving feeling too, that you're finally done with the recruitment process and you're where you're supposed to be. So that's kind of a breakdown of like the days of how recruitment goes. So some other things I wanted to tell you guys from my experience personally is you are going to be given, it's called something different in at every college, I'm pretty sure, in every university, but at Auburn it's called a pai kai, which is like the leader of a small group that you're going to be in, and it's based off of like your last name, and you're with I think like 10 to 15 other girls, and you go to each house with this group, so you naturally get very close to this group because you're going through this crazy process with all of them. I got so lucky with my pai kai group. I love them so much. Shout out to any of you if you're watching this. Everyone was so sweet, and we had the best bond, and every single night we have like pai kai dates, and you go get like frozen yogurt or dinner, or just meet somewhere with your pai kai group, and you talk about your day as a whole, and you just make sure, like the pai kai is there to make sure that you're having the best experience possible, that you're doing okay mentally, because obviously sorority recruitment can be hard, and you can get in your head about certain things, which I'll get into, but yeah, so the pai kai is basically there to support you along the way, give you any advice you have, answer any questions that you have, and then it's also nice to be put in a certain group with other girls because you have this support system with you. You're not just like in it alone. Another thing I recommend is eating a super nutritious and filling breakfast in the morning, because you have breakfast in the morning and then you go, and then you have a lunch break and then you go again. So eat a nutritious breakfast that's going to energize you and make you feel your best, most confident self, and then definitely pack a couple snacks. I did, because I know I get hungry before lunch. And then during lunch, they gave us the choice that you could either buy a lunch or you can go back to your dorm and eat. And I personally went back to my dorm every day to eat, just so I could have like my alone time away from all the craziness and sort of recharge for the second half of the day. Because each day, especially if you're given a full schedule back, every day is super long. So just be ready for that. But it's honestly so worth it, and you just have to trust the process. So speaking of getting invited back to houses, you are going to, after every single round, list your preferences of each sorority, and then the sorority obviously is going to rate you on the other end too. So each day you're going to be given a schedule of the houses that you have been invited back to, and you can either be invited back to every single house that you wanted, so that's called like a full schedule, or you'll be invited back to only a certain number of houses, which is so normal and totally fine. Actually, it's so rare to get a full schedule back. And they'll give you certain time slots for you to be at each sorority. So the less sororities you're invited back to, the more breaks you'll have in the day. And then if you get a full schedule, you have less breaks. So, you know, it's like you win either way. So it doesn't matter. And also, don't get in your head if you don't get invited back to a certain sorority, because you don't want to be in a sorority that doesn't want you personally. I would not want to be in a sorority that doesn't want me, because I never want to have to be around people who don't accept me for exactly who I am, and have to work really hard to please people who don't love me for who I am at my core. That would just be so tiring and so toxic. So don't get in your head if you are dropped from a certain sorority, because it most likely will happen, and you just have to be strong and prepare yourself for it, and know that literally every other girl is going through the same exact thing. Oh, another thing I want to tell you is talk to the girls around you. Don't be afraid, because every single girl that you meet is in the same exact boat. All of you have just moved to college. You're all living on your own for the first time. Everyone's nervous. Everyone's trying to get the sorority that they want. They're trying to just do their best. So talk to everyone, make friends. Like, I know I talked to like everyone next to me in line each day, because number one, I was nervous and I just wanted to talk to other people to make myself feel better. And number two, like, it just makes the experience that much more enjoyable and less miserable when you're meeting new people. And I know I met certain girls during Rush, like in line, and I still talk to those girls to this day. That's like some of my good friends. Even if we're not in the same sorority, I'll see them out at like a party or anything like that, and I just say hey, and we still talk, and we keep up with each other's social media and everything like that. So definitely talk to people. Don't be reserved to yourself at all. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to some recruitment tips that I have. These are my tips, and then I also texted all of my friends from Auburn and asked if they had any advice that they thought that I should include in this video. So it's me and all these other girls giving you guys advice. So I would definitely take them if you want any tips. The first tip I have is to, obviously you're going to hear this a million times, but go in with an open mind. Don't go in wanting one certain sorority, because a lot of times that's a recipe for disaster, and you're also not giving other sororities a chance. So just kind of go into every sorority, give every sorority an equal chance, because honestly you could be so surprised on the sorority that you end up falling in love with and that you end up going in the end. I've met so many girls that I know that had no idea they wanted their sorority at the beginning of the week, and they slowly fell in love and developed this bond with all the girls in that sorority and ended up going that sorority, and now they can't picture themselves in any other sorority, especially the one that they thought they wanted at first. So keep that in mind. This was my best tip going into recruitment, is pay attention to how you feel coming out of each sorority that day, because that is going to dictate how you feel. Like, pay attention to your energy and how you feel going out of these sororities. Like, I know there were certain sororities I came out feeling so genuinely good about myself, and then there were other sororities I came out being like, I just had to like make stuff up to say, and I couldn't be myself. Like, you are going to feel a distinction between each feeling and each sorority when you come out. So pay attention to that and write down how you feel. After every sorority I went into, I would take notes. That's another tip, is take notes about how your experience went that day in that certain sorority, how you feel, how the conversation went, how you feel if you're excited or if you just simply don't see yourself in that sorority, which is totally okay. Just write notes, because it's easy after 18 different sororities to forget how you felt about a certain one. So definitely take notes. Another thing is to pay attention to how you feel while inside the sorority talking to the people. Does it feel natural, or does it feel forced, or does it feel panicked? Pay attention to that. Take into consideration any red flags about how you feel, and trust your gut, trust your intuition about how you feel. Another thing, I think I've already mentioned this, but just don't take offense to being cut. It happened to me, it happened to everybody. You're eventually going to get cut from sororities that maybe you did look forward to going back to the next day, and you get your schedule and you're like, oh wait, they're not even on my schedule. But it's okay. It happens to literally everyone. Do not take offense. Just keep going and keep trusting the process. Another piece of advice I can give you is to simply just be honest and real in each sorority. You don't want to be someone you're not, because then you're going to end up somewhere where you're not meant to be, and then you're going to end up having to be someone that you're not for the next 4 years, which is just going to be horrible for you and for everyone around you. So just be authentic, and also every girl can tell when you're being authentic versus when you're trying to be someone you're not. So just be who you are, because everyone is perfect in their own ways and everyone is awesome at their core. So don't feel like you have to fit into a certain mold in order to be in a certain sorority. A lot of the sororities, especially at my school, are super diverse. There's so many different personalities in each sorority. So don't think that just because, oh, I know this one girl that's in this sorority and she acts this way, so I'm going to try and act this way because I want to be in this sorority. Like, no. It doesn't work that way, and you'll kind of mess up the process, and you'll mess up the authenticity of everything, and it just won't feel right either. So just be yourself. Another huge tip that I agree with, and everyone in my friend group message from Auburn agreed with, is wear what you want and with your style. Obviously be classy. Don't wear anything crazy, showy. Be classy, but stick to your aesthetic and what you like to wear, because don't wear a certain thing because you think a certain sorority is gonna like that, or that you have to fit a certain mold. Wear what you want to wear that fits your personality. I know, like, I've talked to some girls in my grade and even the grade above. They said they would like wear certain dresses just because I thought that like they had to wear this certain style in order to get a bid from a certain sorority. Like, no, that is no, just wear what you would normally wear. And yeah, but of course keep it classy. And also make sure that you feel super confident and super comfortable in those clothes. Don't wear something that you're constantly need to be like picking at or that you feel self-conscious in, because that'll just make you miserable the entire day. So make sure that you're comfortable and confident in your outfit. Another thing I suggest is to try to keep it low-key the entire week, what sororities you're interested in. Don't be like running off telling your friends every sorority that you really, really want or that you can see yourself in, because number one, that's going to make your friends more biased on the sororities that they want, and number two, you never know what's going to happen, so just keep it to yourself until you get that bid. I know personally, like me and all of my friends that I knew from my hometown, we did not speak the entire week. We did not tell each other what sororities we were invited back to or what sororities that we really wanted. And then a lot of us honestly ended up in the same sorority, which was super, super cool, because we didn't even know that all of us wanted that sorority or that we were going to go that sorority. So it's really cool, but just keep it to yourself, keep it low-key until you know that you have that bid. Something that goes along with that is don't go a certain sorority based off of what your friends like, because just because your friend likes it doesn't mean that you will like it, doesn't mean that you will be happy, and it doesn't mean that you will relate to the people in it. So yeah, just choose what feels right to you. Like, trust what's inside here, not what you see around you. Another suggestion I can make that I know helped me, and a lot of Pi Chis told a lot of me and my friends this as well, is during prep round, look around the room and see what kind of girls are in that room and see if you can picture yourself with those girls, like if they're your type of people. Because I mean, it's honestly 50-50 during prep round if these girls are going to be your sisters or not. So make sure that you can picture yourself with these girls and that it feels right to you. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into questions from my Instagram that you guys asked and that you want to know. So the first piece of advice is Zoom advice, because obviously we are dealing with a pandemic right now, so Rush is not going to be the same that it has been the entire rest of time. It's not going to be the same process that I went through last year, which is so unfortunate, and I really do feel for you girls that are going through recruitment this year. But I know that every single school is trying their hardest to make it feel as natural as possible and make it as easy as possible. So just have hope in that and know that we're struggling on our side too, and we both just want the best. We want the best for you guys. So the way my university is doing it as of right now is we have ice water teas and Philanthropy online, and then the rest of the rounds are in person. So my advice to you is for virtual rounds, obviously it's going to be through a screen, so there's going to be boundaries, there's going to be limits, which sucks, but my best advice is to emphasize on your personality and just be yourself, obviously, but emphasize your personality, ask questions, seem interested. Those are my best pieces of advice, is just make sure that you seem interested, make sure you smile, make sure you emphasize who you are as a person, because we are going to be meeting you through a screen. So yeah, that would be my best advice, but don't worry too much about that. A lot of you guys asked me questions about my outfits for Rush, and I got all of my outfits from Princess Polly, and I chose outfits, obviously, that emphasized my personality and that made me feel really good going in, because I know when I was in a dress that I really loved, going into each sorority that day, I felt like that much better because I was being put in a dress that like made me feel my best, and it helped me be more confident to talk to people and meet new people because I felt good on the outside and the inside. Some people asked how I knew that I wanted to be in Pi Phi, which is my current sorority, and honestly, for me, it was like after going into Pi Phi each day, it was the one that I felt most comfortable in. Each conversation just flowed so easily and so naturally, and then every time after I left Pi Phi, I felt like so good about myself, like so energized. It made me like so excited to just like be a part of something like that. And also, every girl in Pi Phi is so diverse. Like, there's so many different personalities, there's people from all over, and there's so many different kinds of people who, and we all like kind of do our own thing, which I love as well. Like, I know, like, I do my own thing and my friends do their own thing, and we're very different in that way, but we all understand where each of us are coming from, and we all support each other for our goals and our own different like hobbies and interests, which is something that's like so cool to me, is that they never like judge me for, you know, doing YouTube or anything like that. They just accept me for exactly who I am, and that was like huge for me. So that's probably a huge reason why I went Pi Phi. There were some questions about sorority dues. Every sorority is going to cost something a little bit differently, but the good thing is, I don't know if they do this at every university, but at Auburn, during recruitment, they give you a sheet of paper listing every single due that you will have, so it's completely transparent. You won't be surprised or blindsided while, like, after you are given a bid, you're going to know going into bid day what you will have to pay for that sorority. Someone asked if it would be different rushing as a sophomore versus a freshman, and I know girls that did that, and they said it's literally the same exact thing. Nobody judges, everything's completely the same, and you'll be just fine. Someone said, how do you know when you can actually open up to the girl you're talking to, or if it's too soon? I don't think it's ever too soon to open up to a girl. Ice water tea day obviously is a very brief day, so I would keep it kind of broad on, well, actually, considering it's going to be virtual, you guys are just sending in videos that day, I'm pretty sure. But you can start opening up philanthropy round, honestly. Whatever feels right. Whenever it feels right and you feel like you can trust a certain sorority or a certain girl in the sorority, open up to them. Like, I personally would love a girl to open up to me, and I feel like that would just strengthen your bond with that certain sorority and with that certain girl in general. So yeah, just whenever it feels right. But I wouldn't be too transparent about what sorority you really want to go until probably like pref round. But I would say if you want to open up about personal things like your life or things you've gone through or how you can relate to the sorority, definitely, I would say, open up about that. Go right ahead. Someone asked if I was nervous to join, and honestly, it is a little bit nerve-wracking just because you have absolutely no idea what you're stepping into the first day of recruitment. But the fact that there's like hundreds, probably thousands of other girls doing this same exact process helps me kind of like ground myself and know that I'm not in this alone. There's so many other girls going through it, and I went through it, so you can go through it. I believe in every single one of you guys. So yeah, that's all of the questions, tips, and advice that I have for you guys. I really hope that this was helpful in some way. Like I always say, my DMs are open. My Instagram is at EmmaWilliams18. You can DM me if you have any questions or if you just want to talk about recruitment at all. I am so willing to talk to you guys, and I'm so excited for all of you guys to go through this and to find your people, because honestly, the girls that I've met in my sorority are so amazing, and they've changed my life completely, and I'm just so incredibly thankful, and I would not have it any other way. So I know recruitment is a little bit different this year, but we're all going to push through and make it through, and I feel like it'll be way better than we all think it's going to be. So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah.